welcome. My name's Kathy A, and today I thought I would share some of my beauty secrets. Beauty hacks, as they call them nowadays. And they're just little tips and tricks that make life a little bit easier and kind of fun. I think I'm going to start off with something that, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I do different things during my videos, and sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't. I don't expect that you watch every single video of mine, even if you're a subscriber. The first one uses electrical tape, and you can find like a 5-pack like this in the dollar store, or I found this one in Target. And it's just really rolls of electrical tape, thusly, and I just wrap it around my brushes. Now, any of you who have a lot of like eye brushes and things, in the morning you're getting ready, you want, oh, I want something for the crease. Well, what I have is a system, and I use the different color tapes to represent different types of brushes, and this is really helpful. Even after you wash your brushes, you can kind of sort them. I know that all the white ones will put on light colored eyeshadows really well on the base, so I know my light ones are base shade ones. I know that the yellow ones are crease ones. I have blue ones for blending. B is for blending. These are kind of larger size for blending. And then I have red specialty brushes, and they could be just eyelining brushes or special razor edge for sharpening a line or smudging or brows. And I have dark black ones, and these are ones that put on dark shades really nicely in the corners or the outer V. And then I have also in my larger brushes, when you have a whole bunch of brushes, I can pick out right away my blush brushes that I like to use for blushing. So it's a really cool system, and it's so inexpensive to just use these tapes. And these electrical tapes wash, so once you wash them, they'll stay there. And they're double duty on these e.l.f. brushes, because as you know, if you have an e.l.f. brush, the ferrule and the tip fall apart often after 3 or 4 uses. You find it starts getting wobbly. Well, if you put that electrical tape there, it's going to hold it together and make it stronger. Plus, when you're washing it, the electrical tape washes with it nicely. So it's a really easy system, and especially in the morning when I'm half awake and I don't want to have to, rummage through all of my brushes. I know right away I can just grab that white one out for my base, and I grab that yellow one out for my crease, and it just makes life really, really easy. The second one is spraying makeup to sanitize it. And what I do is I buy a bottle. It's you can have a choice, like 91% or 72%. Different people have different reasoning behind getting like a really strong formulation of a 91% alcohol. This is like a medical alcohol, rubbing alcohol. What I do is I put it in a spray bottle, and what you just do is you just spray the alcohol on your powdered shadows or your blushes or your powder, makeup powders, and then just let it air dry, and that will disinfect your eyeshadow powders and keep the bacteria there. Because if you're using eye things on your eye and then dipping them back into your shadows and then back up, you might be getting eye yuck on your brushes, and then that's just transferring that to the shadows. And over time, bacteria can grow, so it will actually extend the life of your palette as well. So it's a really good hint. Now, a lot of people use the Beauty Blender Cleanser for their brushes, and I found that a lot of things don't come to the quality of that particular product. But one thing I did find, it was quite by accident. I use, this is a cruelty-free green line called 7th Generation Mandarin Orange Hand Wash. And what I do is I put just a few squirts of this with some warm water, and then I use like maybe just a ½ teaspoon of coconut oil. And the warm water will melt the coconut oil liquid consistency. And that makes the perfect brush wash. You just dip your brushes into that, and then you are really going to have a nice, clean, shiny brush. And the coconut oil adds a little bit of conditioning to the brush bristles, so you get that kind of softness. It gets crispy clean, and you get the softness, and it's a green product, and it's very inexpensive. So right now I think these are at Target on sale for like $2.99, and this will last for quite a while. This is the other part of the beauty thing. This is a really cheap little mat, and it's got bristles on it. It's like a little bath mat or something. I cut the bath mat in half, and then I cut a little indentation out of it so that it can run down the hole in the sink. And what I do is I put my brush in the cleanser, and then I wipe it over these bristles, and and rinse the water, and it absolutely does a great job cleaning, because there's just enough friction here to cause a great cleaning action to happen. And these things, probably about $3 for a bath mat. This one with the bristles on it is the one that I prefer. And then and then this washes itself afterwards. It's really a cool thing. Now, if you don't like mandarin orange, they do have a scent-free, free and clear, I think, type of version, which has no scent at all to it. So if you don't want any kind of a scent to your brushes, you can just use the coconut oil, maybe half a teaspoon of coconut oil with a few blasts of the Pure and Clean, it's called. And you don't get the scent in there. The next beauty tip I have is using eye drops in your beauty routine. And what I do is, like a lot of times if you're putting mascara on or eyeliner or anything else, you'll see you've got a little blotch here or there. So you just take a Q-tip, and you can just put a little bit of an eye thing, and you can just touch it with that, and then just pull it up with the dry end of the Q-tip, and it pulls it right off. It also works really well as an eyeliner. There's like a fixing spray. So what you do is you just put a drop onto your brush, and then you can just well, let me just put this on. This is the eyeshadow on its own, and then this with the eye drop in it. Let me just put that there next to it, and you will see the difference. You create an eyeliner with it. So just a drop of the eye drop on your brush, and then your brush right into the palette there. And it's safe for use around your eyes. And it makes a great eyeliner. And you can use this with any eyeshadow. It doesn't damage the eyeshadows at all. Any eyeshadow. I wouldn't recommend putting the eye drops into the eyeshadow itself, just onto the brush, and then dip it in, and then you've got, a beautiful line. And, like, this is the eyeshadow just as an eyeshadow, and this is the eyeshadow as the liner mixed with. And I got this at the Dollar Tree. It was $1 for these eye drops. So you can do a wonderful assortment of things. I especially like taking off a little mascara ding with it by putting a drop on the end of a Q-tip and just rolling it into that, and then taking the dry end and pulling it out. That way you're not causing a lot of damage, and you don't have to buy special products. I mean, this is pretty cheap, and you can use this if you have a red eye morning. A lot of times on YouTube, we're comparing things with all the time. Like, gee, I wonder if this stuff really works. And a lot of times it's hard to tell if stuff really works on you. I mean, there's no way to know. Like, oh, how do you know if a foundation's working really well for you compared to what you already have? Or how do you know that an eye primer is doing anything at all? And the one thing that I do is I'll just do it on one side. I just do one side with the eye primer, or one side with one foundation and one side with the other, and I go through my work day. At the end of the day, you can see where you stand, whether or not that eye primer did its job or not, and what the difference is, if you even need it. So I think just doing half your face with a new product to see if it's worth it, or if it works just as well. In a lot of cases, people will do high end and low end and test them out throughout the day. I know Sabrina does that. I just love her to death. She's great. She does a lot of half testing, high and low end and things like that. But just on your own, you know, if you want to see, gee, I wonder if this eyeliner will work for me, put it on one side and then put another eyeliner on the other side that's a similar color, and then see how they go throughout the day. Do they smear? Do they stay put? Do you see them at the end of the day? Did they disappear? So half the face, and it works with any kind of makeup, half the face, and then the other half with something you already know. Keep your controls, you know, you got your controls. This product was sent to me, it's called Color Switch, and a friend of mine, a subscriber, sent this to me, and it's a really cool concept. And what it is, it comes in a little travel tin, which is nice. It is a kind of a rough sponge material, so that when you are doing eyeshadow, you would just wipe this on here and it would take the excess shadow off of here, so you can take this and go into a different color. A lot of people are using this, and I forget now how long ago. I've been doing this for years, but this, it is not exactly the same. It's not the same stuff. This is more coarse, and this is more like something you would use in the kitchen. This is a bun thing. You would wrap your hair around to create a bun on the back of your head. You can find them in the dollar store or in drugstores. They come in different colors: blonde, brown, black. And it does the same kind of thing. What I like about this is that you can wash this. I wash this at the end of the week. I wash these once a week in warm soapy water with Dawn dishwashing liquid. And then I rinse it out, squeeze it out really good, and then I turn it inside out, and I let it set and air dry. And it air dries. But it works pretty much as well as this. There's a slight different texture difference. Now the cost of this is a little bit more. It comes in its own travel tin, which I like. But you can see it's a different material. But this is a tremendous help when you are traveling, or if you are a makeup artist and you want to, you know, change out or switch out your colors. You can even go from a dark color back to a light color to accent if you want with this. And the bun works just as well. Maybe not quite exactly the same, but when you put it on there, it works really well. So the little BunMaker is a great idea instead of this Color Switch. I've had both. They are different, but it works just as well. This is one of those cases. Now, a lot of times when I'm in the shower, I'm kind of blind as a bat when I'm reaching for things, and I'm not going to take credit for this particular beauty secret. I saw it on Tammy, Uppy Beads. Tammy did this. When you have two items, you know, a lot of times we have items that are the same color even. One's a conditioner and one's a shampoo. And when I'm in the shower, I'm like, I don't know what is it? So what I do, you put an S on the shampoo. And like, if you're like me, I have like 4 or 5 different shampoos in my bathroom, in the shower area. If I have an S on there, doesn't matter. These aren't shampoos, so I know these have got to be moisturizers, but the S's are shampoos. And when you know what a shampoo is, you have to use something that's waterproof, like a Sharpie marker, and put it on there. Just a big old S. You don't need to mark any of the other ones, because you know the one with the S is shampoo. And that really helps me a lot in the shower when I can't see anything at all. Because some of these, you know, even seeing these are the same brand, they're different colors, but can you tell which one's the conditioner and which one's the shampoo from here? So this is a big help, and I'm indebted to Tammy for that particular trick. That was a wonderful, I'm glad I paid attention to her. This next trick is something that I hate to give it away, because I've been doing this now for about a year, and when you go on the Ulta website, or any website really, if you put in travel, the word travel in the search bar, it brings up all the little sample size, travel size products. So if you don't want to use, if you're not familiar with the product and you want to try it out, you're really not like me. I return things all the time, but if you're not somebody who really likes to return things, you just want to try a little bit, just put travel in the search box and you will get like 7 or 8 pages of small size products that are really interesting. You get everything from makeup to mascara to skin cream. I noticed that the It Confidence in a Jar, I think it's called, comes in a little $14 sample size. Now the regular one I think is $48, which I paid. I wish I could have gotten that $14 one. I didn't know, but when I put travel in the Ulta thing, there it came up. Oh well. So I like to do that with any kind of search engine in a place, because when you get the travel size, you know after you've used something 2 or 3 times whether or not it's going to work out for you. So next on the list is, this is a brow mascara, and this is something that I think we need as older ladies when we have a lot of gray hair in our brows. I bought this particular one. It was the light shade Blonde or Over Yonder or something it's called. I don't know, I was really impressed with it for that, but I got it in my hair accidentally. And so what I found this is really good for is if you're in a rush and you've got a couple of grays there right near your hairline, you want to cover them up. This works really well of covering up your gray hair. I mean, it only works for the evening or the event you're using and it washes out, but wow, you know, just as a kind of a temporary fix for, you know, or even, you know, doing your roots. I'm sure this is how they got the idea for it, using mascara for your roots or whatever. So it just works really nicely as a hair mask for gray hair in an emergency. Because I was trying to think, well, should I return it? And I thought, you know, it was only like a few bucks to begin with. I hate to go and, what a schmuck, you know, returning something that's only a couple of bucks back to the store. So I found that this was very useful, and it just adds, even adding kind of a, you could get a slightly darker color and add kind of a low light stripe effect to your hair. So if you're a blonde anyway. But I just found that was a better use of this than what it was actually made for, because it didn't coat the grays in my brows as well as I would have liked, and the brush wasn't as controllable as I liked. So now I'm gonna kind of freak you out a little bit. I am purposely going to break a powder for my next one, and what it is how many of us have ordered something in the mail and it has broken, it has arrived broken, smashed all over. So what I do with this, you can see the powder is, it's all broken. What I do is I pour it into, I have a little bowl for this. I take everything out of the pan, and then I take a spoon and I crush it into the tiniest, finest powder I can. This is a blush from Essence. I could have done this with my NARS blush, but nah. So I just stir it up a little bit and press down till I get it all squished, so it's just a very fine powder. You don't want any chunks in it. And I'm sure you've seen variations of this, but this is the way that always works for me, and not doing it in the pan is, I think, an easier way to do it. It's nice if you have just a tiny little bowl. You can find a tiny little bowl in a thrift store or a dollar store. I think the tinier the bowl, the better, because you can control it. And what I do is I will pour a little bit of the alcohol, the same alcohol I spray my makeup with. This is the 91%, and I'm just going to pour a little bit in there, and I'm going to stir this up to make a kind of pudding with it. It almost looks like a pudding when it's cooking. And you're like, oh my God, she's crazy. But you just want a fine little liquid. It's just a fine little liquid. You can see that. It looks like a very light glaze, like you would put on a Boston cream donut. And then what I do is I will take the spatula and I'm going to put this right back into, it's awkward to do this in front of the camera, but I'm just going to pour this right back into the pan. And I just have a little spatula that will get all the excess out. You now have something that looks like this. It's just a wet little blob, and you are going to just set that down and let it evaporate overnight. Just let it evaporate overnight. And the next day, it will be good as new. All of the alcohol will have evaporated, plus it's disinfected at the same time. So you have saved your powders. This works with eyeshadows, it works with blushes, regular powders. The secret is to get as fine a powder compressed as you can. A mortar and pestle, like the old days I used to do herbs that way, a little mortar and pestle like a marble one does the best job. But just using a spoon against the bowl made a nice fine powder, and now I've got this. I can't really lean it too much towards you because it's a little wet, and it seems like really wet, but tomorrow this will be dry. And what I do about midway through is I will press something in the top, and it makes a little indentation design. You can use a rubber stamp, or you can use a paper towel that has a swirl design on it. This is still a little too wet to do that too, but it makes a nice little design in there. You can even get like a cute rubber stamp with a flower on it or something, and that's how they do it. And they bake theirs. So just let it set and it will be good as new, and in a future video I will show you this exact blush after I've done it. My next trick is something that's very basic, and you probably already know this. This is when you take, this is just a light bronzer, and when you're traveling sometimes you lose things or you don't have them, so you would use your bronzer, of course, as a bronzer. You can also use it as a crease eyeshadow or even a single eyeshadow. And you can use it with a brow brush as a brow powder. It is a 3-in-1. And then if you use your eye drops, you can use it as a light eyeliner as well. So it will make it a multi-purpose product. Now my last trick is probably going to freak you out a little bit. I'm going to take off my lash here. I'm just going to take it off. Now, if you can see, this is my eyelash. Now when you are measuring a false lash, sometimes they're a little long, so you cut from the outside. You want to have at least a half a finger here on the inside corner open. So if you lay your lash right where you want to do it, and move it over, anything on the excess you cut from the outside, you will cut it. You don't want too long of a lash on. I like to cut them 3/4 length, and I put them more towards the middle. My trick is, I use a brush on clear, which goes on white. I'm just going to do it loose right here without a mirror in front of me. That's how confident I am in this particular system. And it goes on white. It starts to turn a little bit blue. This is the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive. I will take the lash literally and stick it right on . Stick it right on there. And it dries almost instantly. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's that easy. Now, the only bad part to this is when you go to remove your lashes at the end of the evening, you've got a little glue strip there. What I use to remove it is usually a little coconut oil or a little mineral oil or a little makeup remover will take it off. You do need to use something extra to take it off when you do that, but it works so easy. I mean, how many of you struggle? If you've ever tried to put a false lash on, how many of you struggle with that? And this is like, it's so easy. It's just so easy. And then I usually will put a line, a black line over the top, and then I will use a little mascara to merge my lashes with the fake lashes. Now I have kind of natural looking lashes on today. You probably didn't even know I was wearing fake lashes, but that's how easy it is and to put them on. And you know, I didn't do it so easily when I first started. It takes a little bit of practice, but I bet after 2 or 3 times you'll have it down. And wearing false lashes to a big event or something, it's a very elegant and glamorous thing to do. So those are my tips and tricks for now. I hope you've enjoyed them. It was a lot of fun talking about stuff like that. Do you have a tip or a trick? I'd love to know. Let us know down in the comments, because I know people read each other's comments because you get into arguments and stuff. And anyway, everybody have a wonderful week. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.